Spirituality isn't meant to be trendy, it's meant to help you heal and connect with yourself. Hi besties, my name is Mia, or the Divine Homie, and you may know me from Insta, TikTok, or Pinterest, where I post a ton of spirituality, mental health, and queer, chaotic related content. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get started in spirituality, or how to reconnect with spirituality. And I'm going to be introducing you guys to like 7 little practices that I incorporate into my own spiritual practice and that were super influential for me. In today's video, I'm going to be touching on some basic spiritual shiz like astrology, crystals, meditation, shadow work, etc., etc. In my opinion, there is no start or beginning to a spiritual journey. We began these journeys before we arrived to this earth and will continue them even after we turn back to dust. In this life, we may deviate from our spiritual or our highest path, but this is a source of opportunity because it gives us the chance to reconnect and awaken our souls in this experience. I really believe that spirituality is all about connecting to that sense of inner guidance and inner knowing and intuition, and allowing that to be a guide for how you develop and how you find the practices that work best for you and the traditions that call out to your soul and are meant for your soul. Before taking advice or following along with trends, before even taking my advice, check in with your intuition and really see how it's making you feel. Does this resonate with you? Does it make you feel weird? Do you feel resistant to it? If so, don't force yourself to go along with the trends or the advice of someone you may admire. Because if something doesn't feel right to you, then that's valid, and you don't have to incorporate trends into your spiritual practice. Spirituality isn't meant to be trendy, it's meant to help you heal and connect with yourself. So I think astrology is a really great place to start if you're wanting to learn more about spirituality and the universe and yourself. I feel like astrology really gives you the power to get to know yourself on a deeper level. Which is why I found myself so interested in it, and also because everyone talks about astrology. You know so much about it from the media. We are more than just our sun sign, the sign that you may know about initially when someone asks you, hey, what's your sign? We have a whole chart and we're made up of every sign that you could think of. All 12 signs will be found somewhere in your chart. Digging into that allows you to explore and see kind of what elements of everything that you do have and how you can work with all of those elements and really operate in balance to be your highest self. Just dipping your toe into your big 3 is already going to give you 10 times more information than your sun sign. So I like to say start there and then slowly expand and explore more of your chart from there. That way you don't overwhelm yourself. Learning about your big 3, there are so many different rabbit holes you can explore within astrology, including different types of astrology. You can explore the rest of your chart, your Lilith aspect. There are so many interesting aspects, and then getting into comparing your chart with someone else's, seeing compatibility, how your parents' charts connect to yours. I think it's all so freaking interesting. If you do want to explore more of astrology, I don't recommend using CoStar or the Pattern as your go-to apps. I found that they really are not accurate. So 10 out of 10 don't recommend CoStar, 10 out of 10 don't recommend the Pattern app. I think the Pattern is the better of the two, but I don't like the changes that have been made to it as it's become more of a paid platform. My favorite place to go and explore my chart is going to be Cafe Astrology, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. It'll tell you not just your big 3, but your whole entire chart and provide you with a little bit of information about what every aspect of your chart means, going beyond just the basics. Today's video, I'm not really going to get too in-depth on meditation. I talked about that specifically in last week's video and made a guided meditation for you guys. And if you're interested in checking that out, it should be on the screen now as a card, and I'll link it in the description down below. Go check that out after this video if you're interested in learning more about meditation or you wanted to practice a guided meditation with me. Meditation is part of my everyday spiritual practices. Every day I wake up and make sure that meditation is one of the first few things I do each day so that I can connect to myself, root myself in my body and connect to the universe. And I think it's been really beneficial for my sanity and my spiritual growth. And I know that meditation can be something extremely intimidating, especially with the expectation that you have to clear your mind. You don't have to actually clear your mind in meditation. It's about taking a step back from that chatter that's going on in your mind, all that chaos, and instead directing your focus to something else, something that you want to direct it to, like your breath or the energy around you, or kind of how your arm is feeling. It's up to you where you guide that attention. Meditation is a slow practice where you redirect your attention over and over again, rebuilding those neural pathways and creating a healthier way of operating in your life. And it lets you connect to so many different spiritual aspects, like your shadow self, higher self, your spirit guides. You can connect to so many different things through meditation. It's my favorite method for centering, grounding myself, balancing my chakras, doing all my good spiritual jazz. I think if you don't learn anything else, meditation is one of the most helpful things you can learn in your spiritual journey. Meditation can be anything you want it to be. Meditation can be dance meditation, walking meditation. Down in the description below, I've actually linked a variety of different guided meditations that include a dance meditation. That way you can explore and at least see some different examples of meditation for your practice. Manifesting to me is the process of calling your dream life, your dream reality, your dream self into fruition, into the now. Through many different forms, this can include journaling, scripting, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, intentions, the 369 method. There's so many different techniques within manifestation, but I found that my favorite include the law of attraction, the law of assumption, intentions, affirmations, and scripting. And I think that's a really good place to start when you're exploring manifestation. A really common form of manifestation in our society is vision boarding. It's something we've all been encouraged to do from a young age, create a collage of everything that we want for our lives moving forward and place that somewhere where we look regularly so that we're inspired and we know what we're working towards. That in itself is a form of manifesting. You're already manifesting, you just haven't put that label on it necessarily. Scripting has quickly become my favorite form of manifesting. I'm a writer and scripting just feels like second nature to me. It feels like it's the way that I'm meant to manifest. Scripting has allowed me to call this exact moment forth into reality. 5 months ago, I wrote in my journal on the new moon everything that I wanted to happen. I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I wanted to be in therapy getting help for all this trauma that I'm working through. I wanted to have a great and strong TikTok channel going. I wanted to get started with social media. I wanted to be writing more and I wanted to be creating more, and I scripted each of those details into reality now, and I think it's absolutely lovely to see the change that this has brought in my life. Scripting and manifesting has allowed me to stay more intentional about my everyday practices and things that I'm doing in my life. So that's directed me down a path towards reaching my goals. Scripting is the act of writing everything that you want to call in your life as if it's already happened, as if it's happening to you now. So when you're scripting, you're writing everything out in present tense. And I have a great example of this on my Instagram if you wanted to see that. And in the description, I've also linked a great article about scripting that I found super helpful when I was starting to explore it in my own practice. As I've gotten more and more comfortable with manifesting, I've learned how to kind of supercharge my manifestations with the moon. And this has become my favorite way to manifest. I now manifest regularly with each new moon. Next week, I'll be making a video specifically dedicated to the upcoming October full moon. But in today's video, I'll touch on some basics of the moon, how you can learn about it and incorporate it into your practice when you're just getting started. In my opinion, it is arrogant to assume that the moon does not affect us as it affects the tides. We are 70% water and the moon rules the element of water. It is a very influential energy and force on our existence and our world, and we can see this every day. I check in with the moon's energy each morning using the moon calendar app, and I will leave a link to where you can access that below in the description. I pay $5 a year for it, and it's worth that $5 100%. I check in with it each morning when I'm doing my journaling, learn how the moon's affecting me, what phase the moon is in, what percentage it's illuminated, and a ton of other information is available to you on that app. It provides you with some great rituals, intention setting, affirmations. I absolutely adore it. On new moons, I like to focus my energy on setting intentions, new beginnings, and manifesting. Whereas on full moons, I like to focus my intention on endings, releasing, and protection. If you want some more info about the moon, some activities, rituals, affirmations, any information about the moon, you can check out my Instagram or my TikTok. Every time we have a new moon or a full moon, I post a ton of helpful information for you guys. I'm obsessed and I'm nerdy. Yoga is a non-negotiable part of my daily practices. I start off each day with yoga, whether I'm rolling from my bed to my mat or I'm going for a walk and then meeting myself on my mat immediately after. Sometimes I don't have a chance to do a full yoga flow, but I will take a second to step out in the sunshine and raise my arms up and stretch back and just really connect with my body and myself and the universe for even just a moment each day. And I've noticed how clear my head feels and how much more centered my body feels. Yoga allows me to drop into my body and make it a safe space for my soul. I began my yoga practice at home following free videos on YouTube, and honestly that's still one of my favorite ways to practice at home in my own space with the guidance and support of a free YouTube video. I personally think that this is the best way to get started with yoga. That way you don't have to worry too much about putting any big investment into a mat, any fancy gear, or getting into a yoga class. You just need an area to do some yoga and a YouTube video to follow along with. Through yoga, I've seen myself grow stronger spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. The body stores so many different energies, and yoga is really a great way to work through those energies, get them moving, get them shifting around. Yoga really allows me to tune into my chakras and move the energy that may be stuck. In the description down below, you can find a YouTube playlist full of my favorite yoga videos that I follow along in my own daily practice. I enjoy using crystals in my practice and find them to be a powerful tool for energy work, healing, and intention. Crystals are a great way to direct your intention, but they are not your source of power. You are powerful beyond the crystals, you are powerful before the crystals, and you will be powerful after. And there are a few beginner crystals that I recommend for people to check out. So this is quartz. Quartz is a great catch-all crystal. It comes in so many different variations, so many different colors, so many different forms, and I think it's the first stone you should ever pick up if it calls out to you. I like to think of quartz as a master healer and an energy purifier. And here we have rose quartz. So rose quartz is associated with love. So this is a great stone if you want to work with self-love, your heart chakra. Rose quartz is ruled by the planet Venus, which means, again, it's associated with those senses of love, passion, beauty. Rose quartz is known for its loving, compassionate, and nurturing energy. When you're in a heartbroken or sad place, or you're feeling like you're lacking self-love, I find rose quartz to be a very powerful crystal to sleep with under your pillow or to meditate with the intention of self-love and healing. Now we have selenite. I have many different pieces of selenite. This one has got to be my absolute favorite. It's a big slab. It's my biggest crystal. I got it in Sedona, Arizona for only $11. So I brag about it every time I get a chance to. Selenite is one of my favorite crystals to use for purifying energy, cleansing my space, cleansing my other crystals. I keep selenite usually on top of my oracle decks just to make sure that no other weird energy is getting in the way, and they're always kind of in a process of purification after I use them. Mentally and emotionally, selenite is known for its clarifying effects. So if you feel like your brain is really foggy, you're not sure which path to take, meditating or sleeping with some selenite may be really helpful. Amethyst is a very powerful stone known to connect to your intuition and your third eye. It's one of my favorite stones to meditate with, and I usually place it on top of my third eye during meditation. So yes, I'd say amethyst is one of my favorite stones, and I definitely think every single human out there needs a piece of amethyst. Tiger's eye might be another one of my favorite stones. I find it to be a powerful tool for healing, grounding, and protection. My whole study abroad experience in France, I wore tiger's eye around my neck and I felt so protected. At the end of my study abroad experience, it actually fell off, and I felt like that was really symbolic of the transformation and journey that I had just had. When choosing crystals, I recommend allowing your intuition to be your guide. I just go into the metaphysical shop and choose the crystals that call out to me most. Once I get home, I go ahead and take notes and learn all about the crystals and do my research, and I found this to work amazing for me. I've gotten 100% of the time the crystal that I needed without me even realizing that I needed it. Oftentimes a crystal will call out to you. You're not choosing the crystal is choosing you. Now, when you're going about purchasing crystals, my first recommendation is going to be to check out your local metaphysical shop. See if you like the vibe, see if you like the energy in there before you buy the crystals, because some of them are shady. Number two, go ahead and go on Etsy. Etsy has a ton of reputable and ethically sourced crystal sellers that I absolutely love. I think the biggest downside downside of online shopping for crystals is you can't feel that buzz of energy. You can find a huge array of crystals available to you online that you may not find at your local metaphysical shop. Number 3, please, 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 please do not get your crystals from Amazon. They are fake. It is not ethically sourced, and I just 10 out of 10 do not recommend. I'm really big about shopping small, so I think you should support local businesses and small sellers. Because I'm not an expert in crystals, I won't go any more in depth into them in this video, but I will link you to my friend Katie's video. She talks about pretty much everything you could want to know about crystals in her video, so you can find that linked here or somewhere down here. Another really intimidating and overwhelming aspect of spirituality that a lot of people are really interested in is shadow work. Shadow work is the act of taking note of these qualities that we may deem negative or undesirable, that we may want to hide from or hide from others. And instead of punishing ourselves for these negative qualities, it's seeking to understand them, to provide compassion to ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and then change these negative, traumatic things within us. We can only release our limiting beliefs and fears and anxieties and trauma once we actually face it, acknowledge it, and instead of punishing or running from it, choosing to heal with it. Shadow work can be as simple as taking notice of your racing thoughts in your brain and choosing instead to think, I love myself in this moment. Shadow work can also be following intense shadow work journal prompts where you're focusing on a guided aspect of yourself that you need to reveal and work through and explore. And this is hard work. This is the stuff that you do in therapy. This is the stuff you do every day when you fight against your anxiety and your inner critic. This is the stuff you do every day to be your highest self. A great place to start with your shadow work is finding a guided meditation and some journal prompts that you feel comfortable with. Having some basic support systems or things that you're comfortable with already in place will make that whole shadow work process of revealing your inner gunk much easier. We're talking tarot cards. So let me first start off by saying you do not need to be gifted a tarot deck in order to get started with tarot. That's just not essential. That's some sort of rumor. Go ahead, buy a deck that you love and get started exploring tarot. And oftentimes it's as simple as going into your local metaphysical shop or going online and finding a deck that you really feel resonates with you. I personally think that the best deck to start out with is this Rider-Waite tarot deck. It's the simple one that pretty much every online source and every person starts off with. So you'll find a lot of information relating to this deck on the internet, and it's really easy once you learn these symbols on this card to expand your knowledge into a more complicated or artsy tarot deck. I really like to start off simple and then build that into something more magical later on once I've gotten familiar with the basics of tarot. And keep in mind that you do not need to know all the cards' meanings to go ahead and get started doing readings for yourself or for others. You can learn as you go. I'm still learning all of the meanings of the cards. I don't think I'll ever stop learning about them because there is always so much more detail that you can go into about even just a little symbol on the card or the position of the magician's hand on the card. A great starting place, in my opinion, is pulling a card every day and researching its meaning. I like to do this every morning when I journal, and also there are a ton of great YouTube videos that you can watch to just help you get oriented with tarot and the basics of it. I've actually linked a video down below in the description where it goes over all the meanings of the tarot cards within 2 hours. So my nerdy self likes to find a ton of books and podcasts and YouTubers to learn more about pretty much any topic, but especially spirituality. Now that we've talked about some of the basics of your spiritual journey, some things that you can incorporate into your beginner's practice or reconnect with in your practice, I wanted to talk to you guys about some of my favorite resources, including podcasts, YouTube videos, and books. So I don't listen to a ton of spiritual podcasts. I know, a massive shame. Please recommend some down below in the comments for me. So one of my favorite spiritual podcasts is going to be On Being with Krista Tippett. She interviews a ton of lovely souls from different disciplines, different time periods, different interests. My favorite YouTubers, which I'll leave linked down below, are going to be Harmony Nice and Hitomi. So these are the first 2 YouTubers I ever found in the world of spirituality, especially Harmony Nice, and these 2 have really helped me expand. Now let's talk about the different spiritual books that I recommend for you guys to check out. Now this is a lot, but I'm going to go through them quick. If you guys want me to do a more in-depth video about spiritual books in the future, let me know because I will definitely do that. So the first spiritual book that I will recommend for you guys is going to be The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Next we have The Alchemist. This is a great book to read. I think everyone needs to read this book at least once in their life. Not necessarily a book on spirituality, but a book of poetry, Mary Oliver's book of poetry. She has such beautiful and spiritual perspectives about life and Mother Earth that I think it's really important to read if you are on a spiritual journey. Next up I have Untamed by Glennon Doyle. If you're queer and exploring spirituality or just trying to to figure out your life, I really recommend that you check this book out. Next up, I recommend Broken Open by Elizabeth Lesser. It's a collection of stories which detail how people can transform their lives spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically from their lowest place ever. If you're looking to awaken your Kundalini energy or your psychic energy, I find this book to be really helpful, full of a lot of great information and exercises. It does read a bit more like a textbook, so it's something harder to read, not as fun, but definitely worthwhile, worth exploring if you want to learn more about Kundalini and psychic energy. And then I haven't had the chance to read this book yet. My mom has recommended it to me and just bought it for me. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hayes, and it's all about kind of psychosomatics of our body and how everything's connected mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and how we can work within that to heal our body, mind, and soul. Another book that I haven't had a chance to finish yet, but I do want to recommend to you guys, is The Heart of the Buddha's Teachings by, I can't pronounce his name, but I'll leave it linked in the bio below. And then I have The Artist's Way. So if you're a creative on a spiritual journey, please pick up this book. It will change your life. I 10 out of 10 recommend. And if you're interested in chakra healing, energy work, Reiki, any of that, I really recommend reading this complete book of chakra healing by Sydney Dale. This book reads like a textbook. It's hefty, it's hard to get through. It pulls in scientific articles, journals, and studies to talk about chakras, the energy centers that rule our body, how we can connect to them, and how we can use those to heal our body. Alright besties, that is it for today's video. If you wanted more from me, you can go ahead and check out last week's video, how to meditate, including a guided meditation. But if not, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know where you're at on your spiritual journey and kind of your favorite spiritual practices that you maybe picked up on from this video or that you've already incorporated into your life. I'm super curious to hear back from you. I absolutely adore you guys, and I will see you in next week's video. Goodbye! Green is my color.